Our topic of next session is bile duct injury, the collateral damage. To chair this session, I would like to call upon none other than Dr. Samiran Nandi sir. Uh, Nandi sir is an emeritus consultant in the Department of Surgical Gastroenterology and Liver Transplant at Sir Gangaram Hospital, New Delhi. We have another chairperson with us, Dr. S. Ishwamurthy sir. Dr. Ishwamurthy is presently working as a head of the Department of Minimal Access Surgery, Lotus Hospital, Erode. He is currently Honorable Secretary of IAGS and Examiner of MRCS of Edinburgh. Welcome, sir.
I have a conflicting interest with Sanjay because I know him too well. He is, in fact, one of our few thinking surgeons in this country. Not only is he a great surgeon, but he's written extensively on things related to medicine and surgery, not only for doctors, but also for the general public in a widely circulated newspaper. And I am interested very much that he should speak on collateral damage because that encompasses both his major interests. One is surgery and the other is public interest. Sanjay Nagra.
Thank you. Dr. Kapoor, I'm going to try and share my slides. Am I allowed to share?
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
can you see my slides?
Yes, we can, please.
Okay. So, thank you. Thank you, the Mahatma Gandhi Institute in Jaipur, Dr. Kapoor, all your colleagues for this invitation, and thank you, Dr. Nandi, for that rather interesting introduction, which put a lot of burden on me. But let me say that over the last 2 days, we have had very detailed, nuanced discussions on various aspects of bile duct injury and treatment algorithms. But I suspect that if we ask a patient who's unfortunately had a injury, or for that matter, the patient's family, we are going to get a completely different perspective. And in fact, in any surgical complication, the impact on various players, the patient's family, our colleagues, is probably something that we sometimes fail to miss and discuss. And what I'm going to attempt to do in the next 15 minutes is to look at this collateral damage that is possible. Now, when Dr. Kapoor first wrote to me, he suggested that I talk on the medico-legal aspects of bile duct injury. And I actually sort of requested him that rather than doing that, I would prefer to talk on what I term the collateral damage for 2 reasons. Number one is that I'm not a medical legal expert. And number two, I think when one talks of the medical legal paradigm, it sort of narrows down the discussion. And therefore, perhaps in an attempt to make it wider, what I'm going to talk on today is more of a professional, behavioral kind of issues that come up. Now, my talk is largely experiential. There is some occasional data that I will show you, but it's based on, of course, like all of you, I've had my own share of complication. I've had 2 bile duct injuries. I've done some intraoperative repairs for my junior colleagues, including going to some very small nursing homes in the city of Mumbai. We've managed around 200 bile duct injuries in our department in the last 20 odd years. But of course, I've had this opportunity to interact with consumer groups and patients' rights groups and have given legal opinion in about 3 cases of bile duct injuries. So perhaps that brings in some additional perspectives. My focus really is going to be on India, South Asia, rather than the Western world, because it's very clear to all of us that the practice of surgery in this part of the world is quite different from the rest of the world. I think my slides are moving on their own. I don't know why. Okay, yeah. So, and finally, I just want to say that my talk is a little open-ended, so I'm going to throw open some questions, not necessarily provide the answers. And I also want to acknowledge right at the outset that sometimes I may indulge in a bit of oversimplification, and the fact that I practice in a large hospital in Mumbai gives me a certain privileged position. We need to acknowledge the elephants in the room when we practice medicine in general in India, but certainly, of course, surgery. And all these have an impact on our behavior, the response of patients, the response of families, the response of all the players. So we have largely a privatized healthcare system. A lot of cholecystectomies are performed in the private sector, especially in small nursing homes. Our patients largely pay out of pocket. There are specific challenges to transfers in India, because the last 2 days we have consistently heard about the fact that patients who have problems should be transferred to a specialist center, but that's easier said than done, and there are very specific challenges of doing that. We must also acknowledge and remember that the practice of surgery is very surgeon-centric. So we still are not practicing as teams, and therefore both the credit, but as well as the burden of complications often falls on individual surgeons. Now here's a list of the collateral fallouts of any surgical complication. I mean, this is not something specific to a cholecystectomy. For a patient, it means much more than what we imagine it to be as, infection, organ failure. For the patient, it means pain. It means huge delays in recovery, complete disruption of life. But also, and this certainly applies to bile duct injury, it could mean long-term disability and even disfigurement, scars. For the family, of course, prolonged caregiving. Many of us have probably been involved in caregiving, and we know how disruptive it is for family members. So this collateral impact plays on the entire family. And then there's, of course, the financial impact, the impact on the surgeon. And these are things which I'm going to discuss in some detail. Just one more point which I have put here, which again is probably a little peculiar to this part of the world, which is that surgical complications occurring in the milieus of, especially in small centers, often means involvement of local politicians. And we have had examples of extortion, violence, which is an outcome of complications. So this is something which weighs on the mind of people. Now, we must also look at why there is so much discussion about a cholecystectomy when we talk of complications. I mean, all surgeries have complications, but what is special to cholecystectomy besides the fact that it is a fairly common operation? So I think we, over the years, especially with the advent of laparoscopy, have begun to portray a cholecystectomy as a fairly routine standard procedure. And this sometimes we may overstate to convince our patients. But I think what is also peculiar to a cholecystectomy is the fact that a small error can have a massive impact and long-term disability. So the margin of error is very small. Laparoscopic cholecystectomy has been a poster boy of minimal invasive surgery. And minimal invasive surgery, of course, has taken off in a big way in India. But it is this transition from what is supposed to be minimal invasion to maximum damage to the patient and others, which can sometimes completely disrupt the equation and the relationship between the provider and the receiver. So let me just focus for the next few minutes on what is the impact on the surgeon. And on the top, you see these two sort of quotations. And if you look at them, perhaps you can identify with some of these feelings. And you know, I'm sure many of you have gone through this. I certainly have when faced with a complication. And actually, one of the things we must recognize is that when we ourselves are in the position of a complication, all the textbook algorithms, all the discussions that we have sort of become hazy. And it is at that time that we may go through emotions like denial. There is, of course, panic, and the panic is not just about the patient, but also about what will happen, what will colleagues say, what do I tell the family? And there is a very definite attempt to cover up. And I think this is something that's been time and again raised in cholecystectomy complication literature, that it is the cover up that actually can aggravate the problem. So it is the self-impact on the patient which obscures rational thinking, both intraoperatively and postoperatively, and which may actually worsen the injury. So I think it is the it's the balance, because on the other hand, you also don't want a completely cavalier attitude as if nothing has happened. So the balance between being affected enough to give that extra attention and care, and that extra attention and care is needed partly to express solidarity with the patient and the family, and partly to manage the patient well, but not being affected enough to lose one's rationality and decorum. And I think it is this balance that is perhaps very, very tricky and challenging. So here are some notes to oneself if you are in that situation. Number one, it has happened to most surgeons. Early identification and a planned response leads to a successful outcome in the majority. We know that. We also sort of must be aware that the injury, a bile duct injury, is a known described complication. However, we also need to be immediately aware that when a third party examines this, it is delays, it is improper management, and lack of transparency which constitutes negligence. So there is this sort of nuance between what is a complication and what may constitute negligence. It seems that most patients come to terms with complications. And I must say this with some personal insight, and I would be very keen to listen to others, that transparency and empathy perhaps helps in this process of the patients coming to terms with what has happened. There is data, and I'm going to show you this data a little later, that litigation in India is actually quite rare. And if you talk to any of your friends in the United States or partly even in Europe, you realize that actually we are quite lucky. Now, this is the big elephant in the room. And, you know, as I've said here, it is something that actually rubs salt into the wound. We are unfortunately in a country where there is no universal health care. So what this means for a patient is a sudden, massive cost increase. And often this is out-of-pocket payment. I've shown you here a study from Dr. Kapoor's work of many years, where he has examined many aspects of gallbladder disease and cholecystectomy and injuries. This is an old paper, and they have actually estimated the cost of injury as 10 times the cost of the colon. I suspect this is much more in the private sector. But I think more importantly, the cost to the patient is in their data 8.5 times the median monthly income. Again, I think in a large private sector hospital, this cost is much more. So the cost issue, the impact, the financial impact actually obscures a lot of events that occur after the injury. So are there any strategies to reduce the financial stress? And again, I apologize for oversimplification. It is not so simple. We have looked at early repair, and you know, we know that it is fraught with problems. So this is not really a very good strategy unless you have the expertise to do it. But I think early discharge and home care is beginning to manage more and more patients at home. And I think with good supervision, this is becoming possible because it certainly reduces the cost for the patient. I mean, I even feel odd to use words like this, but this is the reality of the practice of surgery in India. So I think if you have a problem, you need people to help you. So concessions from the institution, charities, and charities do have. Now, there is this whole question of whether one should waive one's personal charges. And I know this is a contentious issue. There are views on both sides. I personally often do it. And this is not because that my charge is going to make a big impact on the cost, but it is as an act of solidarity. And I think my experience is that patients and families appreciate this. But I'm open to the suggestion that, as many of my colleagues say, that it is an admission of guilt. Should you be transferring to the patient to the public hospital if you have operated in the private sector? I think this is again something extremely challenging. Patients, families don't take this well. And for that matter, unless you have a very strong link with the public hospital. I was lucky in my career to simultaneously work in a public hospital in Mumbai. But unless you have a very strong link, this is fraught with a lot of problems. Finally, I'm going to look quickly at the legal nuance between and the difference between a complication versus an error versus negligence. And as I have said at the outset, I'm not an expert at this, but let me say, and firstly, that in the West, data shows that 60 to 70% of post-cholecystectomy litigation will be settled in favor of the patient. And the biggest risk factor identified is delayed diagnosis. But Indian courts still seem to apply this test called Boehm's test. And it essentially means that negligence is assessed or means failure to act in accordance with standards of reasonably competent medical men at that time. So most courts will go by what are the current standards, and where would they look at the current standards? They would probably look at current standards in society guidelines, peer guidelines. And here is where I think the CELSI guidelines probably will have an important role in litigation in India. I'm not going to go into the stuff I have put up on this slide, but this is Dr. Kapoor's paper, a very recent one. And it's a very interesting paper because he actually attempts to give his views on what is a complication and what is an error, and what is negligence. Sorry, so this should be complication versus negligence. And I think this paper is worth reading, not so much because it says something original, but it is probably his observations over the years of what he has seen. And he gives some interesting suggestions to those who are practicing cholecystectomies. And here's a list of some of the things he says. And it's actually interesting that most of these are just good, sensible, rational clinical practice. But as he says in this paper, that if he is choosing to opine on a case, these are the criteria that he would use to opine on whether this is just to be looked at as a complication or as negligence. This is an e-survey done again by the same unit, and I think this is very interesting data. So these are this is an email interview of practicing laparoscopic surgeons. 78%, 86% of those who responded at least one BDI. So that's a substantial number. 78% and more than one bile duct injury. What is important in this paper is that there is a 5% mortality. Now, this is a high mortality, and this is an unacceptably high mortality for bile duct injury. And one wonders what this is due to. But finally, of course, in this paper, the respondents in this interview, only 6% had medical legal cases related to BDI. So therefore, it seems that our patients are actually quite tolerant and quite forgiving. And in fact, I think this is an experience that at least I've had. And if you sort of talk to surgeons across the board and look back, we've got away with a lot of things which we would not get away in many countries. So some closing thoughts. Number one, I think cholecystectomy and its complications is a very interesting lens to understand both the advances, the spectacular advances of modern surgery in the last few decades, especially minimally invasive surgery, but on the other hand, also to note the limitations and dangers of technology and modern surgery. The second closing thought is that whilst we discuss treatment pathways in great detail, as we did over the last 2 days, we also need to now open conversations on some of these collateral challenges. We need to share our experiences, and perhaps out of these discussions may emerge suggestions and experiences to lessen the impact of the collateral damage. Although many of the problems are well beyond our control. This is a suggestion. I'm now old enough to sort of start giving advice to junior surgeons. So I think what matters in a complication to the patient and the family is being there. And this is something described. There's actually literature on this. So the feeling of abandonment that patients go through is clearly a red rag for a lot of anger, angst, and litigation. And I think just the act of being there, being around, showing empathy seems to matter a lot. Stakes are increasing. We have increased the stakes. Regulation is inevitable. The costs have gone up. And therefore, I think this challenge of litigation is going to increase. And one of the lessons that seems to be coming out, and we've been discussing that for the last 2 days, is that whilst there's a sort of pressure and compulsion to work in various settings in India, but I think when you are managing biliary disease, an attempt must be made either to work as a team or to link up with teams, because you almost always are going to need backup support from other specialties. How do we narrow the gap between recommendations and practice? That's a challenge. That's not a challenge only for cholecystectomy complications, but for the entire practice of surgery. One of the things that's going to help us is not putting burdens on individual surgeons, but collective solution. And I think all the professional bodies have a huge responsibility towards this. Dr. Kapoor, I'm just going to end by a suggestion for you. You asked us about the future editions of the Jaipur Surgical Festival. And you, of course, have got the idea from the Jaipur Literature Festival. But, there are now surgeons in India who write, and some of them have been well-established fiction writers. So here are some of them who are still writing. We know them, and you can choose to invite some of them for the future sessions just to talk to us about as big of what it is to be surgeons and also writers. Kalpana Swaminathan and Ishrat said, both pediatric surgeons practicing in Mumbai, write under the pseudonym Kalpesh Ratna. Then, of course, you have Kaveri Nambisan. Kaveri worked in England, but now she works in rural India. And Amrish Satwik, who is a colleague of Dr. Nandi's at Gangaram. So thank you, Dr. Kapoor. Thank you, organizers, for this opportunity. And I'll be very happy to discuss and respond to some of the things I've said. Thank you again for your attention.
Thank you, Sanjay. Very interesting. I was interested in because when I first went from All India Institute to Gangaram's private sector, I operated on a person who bled from the spleen inadvertently. And I asked one of the senior surgeons, I was going to reoperate on him. Should I accept this, tell him that it was a mistake of operation? He said, no, that's an admission of guilt. But in bile duct injuries, every now and then we get people who've got bile strictures, bile leaks, and the treating surgeon pays for their stay under us. Isn't that an admission of guilt? And should that ever be done? The treating surgeon who operated on him got the complication. decides to fund the corrective procedure. I mean, the problem is that he's being kind and also he's admitting that he's guilty.
You're asking me? Are you asking me, Dr. Nandi?
Yes, yes.
I think it's all right. I mean, there is this whole issue of admission of guilt, but I think it's all right.
The other chairperson, Dr. Ishwar Murthy, also has joined. Dr. Murthy.
Hello, sir. I'm watching it silently. I'm on my travel, and it's nice 2 days of this Jaipur festival. And on behalf of IAGS, our president Sunil Popat and myself, our congratulations for having done a wonderful job. I think the whole process of trying to get a zero tolerance of bile duct injury by trying to teach all the youngsters what to do, what not to do, and if you get into trouble, the troubles are quite common, but getting the complication, getting the right person to rectify the problem, they're all equally important, and the medical legal implication. Everything has been said for the last 2 days. I've been watching on my travel. It's really exciting. We want to involve more and more formally next time. Thank you for inviting us to be part of your excellent academic adventure.
Ajay wants to say something. Ajay.
Sir, I think I would slightly disagree with what Dr. Nandi has said, and I would agree with what Dr. Nagral says, that if accidentally some injury has happened and the surgeon wants to support the family, it is actually to say that it is not that he's feeling guilty and he's done something wrong. He wants to say that, okay, whatever has happened, I am standing with you. I am with the family. Whatever it is a problem, he also understands and the family understands. And in India, finances make a big difference to the family. So he's just supporting, he's standing with the family for their problems. That's what I feel. So I think it is justified if somebody is doing that. And if somebody is not doing that, does not mean that it is unjustified. That is also correct, but standing with the family is correct.
I think there is a comment by Dr. Mathur. Dr. Mathur, you are there. You can please say.
No, see, the most important thing is that showing solidarity after the complication happened is okay. But most important thing is that when you are explaining why you are operating on a patient, what operation you're going to do, it is that time, if you explain to the patient and the family in detail, what are the possible complications. Okay. And if that happens, particularly in the setting of cholecystectomy, the bile duct injury, you have to mention, and then you say that if that happens, this is the course of events which can happen to you. Okay. If you document that, explain and document on the paper. Documentation on the paper is for your future litigation, safety from future litigation. Explanation is so they understand that when the things go wrong, then you show the solidarity because you have already explained to them that this can happen in a small percentage. So that's what is important, because that's where you gain the confidence of the patient. It's all about how you gain the confidence of your patient. If you win the confidence of patient before surgery.
You've got muted, Dr. Mathur.
The whole thing.
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that once the complication happens, the solidarity, yes, one should show it. What is important is when you are planning for any surgery, whether it is a gallbladder surgery or any surgery, when you are explaining what you are going to do and what are the possible complications associated with the surgery, and that comes with the cholecystectomy, the possibility of the bile duct injury. You explain to them in detail, and also what is the possible course in case that happens. Okay. And you document it in your outpatient paper, and also in indoor paper when the patient gets admitted. Now, documentation is for safety against the litigation, okay, charge of negligence. While when you are explaining to the family twice, at the time of when you are consulted first, at the time when the patient is going for the surgery, before surgery, after admission, then that's where the transparency comes into picture. That's where the family believes you. And if then happens, and then you show the solidarity, they believe you in that time. Okay. If you don't do it pre-surgery, then they won't believe you after surgery.
Sir,
Sanjay, what do you think of the treating surgeon paying for the next admission?
Yeah, yeah.
sir,
So, yeah.
we have had, sometimes we have been called, actually in my personal experience from Jaipur, if within Jaipur and outside, somebody who's doing a lap chole has had a bile duct injury, he has called to his hospital on table to do a bile duct injury repair. Now, this is a question to all senior people here, that actually the doctor does not want you to meet to the family. You are going as a backdoor entry. You are doing a hepaticojejunostomy on table, and he does not want even to put you the notes, and he wants himself to describe to the family. So now what is your say? What should as a surgeon, you are definitely helping the surgeon and maybe the patient is getting the benefit out of it, but actually you are helping the surgeon. So what's your say on that?
My say on that before the others respond is, and I've actually been through this. And I would tell the surgeon that, look, I don't think I would like to do that. Rather, I would offer to the surgeon that after we have repaired the injury, jointly we go out, he introduces me, and we tell the family that this is what happened and this is what we did. This is what I would insist.
Okay, I think we will have to close this. So thank you, Sanjay. In my list of prospective speakers, I have two groups. The second group is people whom I can ask to speak on any topic. So you are in that list. Thank you very much. And also your suggestion, I think, yes, if you can help us, we will get one of these people as a special speaker in the next Jaipur Surgical Festival. I said in the inauguration and yesterday evening also, yes, we have borrowed the name from JLF only, just to sound it the same, because JLF is very popular. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nandi. Thank you. So